Hey, it's Craig from Flowgrammers here. In this demo, we do a live build of a tool that scrapes a website, grabs the code, and creates a brand new, higher converting web page, PRD, and whatnot from this. So let's take a quick look at what it looks like to begin with. And this is the website we are going to take a look at it. It's an old web page from ages ago. And yeah, it looks like crap. And that's what it is. And we're going to turn it into something like this. That's the end result. So much more better content, higher converting, looking better, ready to make better events for everyone. It's completely rewritten. Whereas before, RC Events and Services better, it would say better events for everyone. RC Events, choose your favorite podcast. There's really not a lot of content here, as you can see, just a couple of things. So the new site has a lot more content. Most corporate events are boring and forgettable. Attendees sit through presentations they could watch on YouTube, then nibble on sad snacks. They network out of obligation, not excitement. And when it's over, they barely remember it happened. So it put all this content in there to show you all the cool stuff that RC Events and Services does and made this a brilliant looking website. So I wanted definitely to show you that. And we're going to build an n8n workflow that scrapes it, builds the PRD, the prompt, gets an image of what the new site should look like. And at the end, we're going to feed that into Lovable, and it's going to create the new web page for us that looks exactly like the one I just showed you, because I'm recording this after, and that's the website we built. So let's jump right into it. So basically, we're going to be building this workflow that takes an input of a website, any website, your website ideally, but maybe a competitor's website, or maybe a client's website. It takes it, scrapes that website, extracts that information, passes it to an AI agent that spits out some stuff, and it creates a image of a beautiful looking new page. It creates a brand new high converting script for that page, and a PRD document, or short form anyway, products requirements document, and build instruction prompt for handing it off to Lovable, and merges it all together and emails that to, well, tonight it's going to email me. So with that, I get a package on how I can just hand over to Lovable, and we're going to do that tonight, ideally, if we have time. And it'll create a brand new high converting page that looks way more amazing than the original site you gave it, and with way more high converting content. So why don't we start that? If you have questions, if you have comments, if you want me to share anything or ask whatever, just ask, because we're here for it. We like to do this live, but we're going to have this recorded, and then we can share it later to whoever needs it. So I wanted to show you, I also put the link to the build doc. So let me share the build doc here so we can quickly see. I could break you out over there so I can see what's happening. So this is the build doc. You can download it, have access. I see a bunch of you are in it all the time. Just make a copy for yourselves, but feel free to follow along. And basically, I built this earlier today. You saw it there. And this is exactly step-by-step how to build it. And we're going to go through it. So if you get lost, if you want to follow later, if you want to build it yourself, just pull up this document and away we go. And I'm going to be following it tonight because it's easier for me to pre-follow the script than to rethink everything by scratch. Okay, I've lost audio, but that's no problem. You can still hear me. Do you use any vector DB here? I don't think we'll be using any vector DB here, Constantine. But let me know what you're thinking and what you were looking at. Maybe I've got some workflow examples I can send you later, or videos, or we'll definitely do that next time. Just let me know what you're thinking. All right, so let's do a trigger node. And we're going to build a form. So this is just going to be simple, actually. On form submission. Perfect. You can install n8n, Rami, or you can go to the cloud version and get a 14-day free trial. You can install it locally or on a Docker image. They have a self-starter package over at n8n underscore io. n8n underscore n8n.io. Sorry. So head over there or over to GitHub. You can get the latest versions. You can have self-host for free, or you can pay for a version online. So it's totally up to you which one you want to do. All right, so here we are back to this. I'm like answering questions at the same time. So I'm going to move that window over here so I can see both of them together. So newbie to n8n, 2 questions. One, how did you come up with this stuff in the Google Docs document that you shared? Can't this whole workflow be outputted in a few seconds with a query on Claude? Okay. Yeah, maybe kind of. Most of the stuff that you build with LLMs will not work properly in this. So because they just don't, it'll build old. If you use maybe one of the MCP tools now and connect them, maybe, but for the most part it does not, because it just doesn't understand the latest tools. It's referencing old documentation. It'll pull up a nice, what you think is a nice looking workflow, and either won't load, or a bunch of unknown nodes, they won't be connected. If you do something simple, maybe. The best workflow builder I've seen so far is the one inside n8n now. They have a beta inside there you can, and it's pretty good, but still I find that it doesn't quite get it right, and you still have to go and pull it apart and make some stuff. So website engine, we're going to this is pretty simple and straightforward. Form description, enter our website URL for this package, and we're going to add a form element. We're going to call it website URL. Placeholder text. Required true. And that's that. Yeah, there are a bunch. There's actually a self-starter kit on the n8n website itself. If you still have questions after, email me or leave it in the comment. I'm going to send a link after this so I can send you all these workflows and whatnot. But there's a link to the self-starter kit on GitHub or from their n8n site. So check that out because there's some pretty straightforward documentation on how to install it. All right, on form submission. Next thing we want to do is do a set node, because we are getting an URL and we're going to call this workflow configuration. And a lot of times it does cause this workflow configuration at the beginning. It's a good thing to do, especially when you're testing. If you're going to get inputs from different areas, potentially, like I was testing webhooks and forms, or just submitting it via trigger or something else, and I was using the workflow configuration to put everything together, meaning it's just a set node to take all the variables, put it here. I only have to change it here for the future workflow, because the future workflow will read the variables from this workflow. So we're going to call this add a field. We're going to call it target URL, and we're going to put in the URL from the trigger. Expression. And we'll see how that goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger the forms You're you're probably not going to see it. No, you don't, but I can share it on this tab instead. That's the form. I put in a website and it sends it back. All right. So now you can see here, I've submitted the form, it's sent it to the workflow, and I can make sure, great, that equals that. And in fact, I'll get rid of the equal sign and execute that, and we have the right output. Perfect. Yeah, if you have any questions, what's happening here? Basically, we've got the form. We make sure we've mapped it to the right field, and then we're going to jump on to the next one here, which is the HTTP request node, which is quite a simple one. I use a different crawler for most things, just because there's a lot of stuff out there that will stop you from crawling. But for this simple example and what I'm going to use, I'm just going to use a basic HTTP node to do crawling. The stream is being recorded and will be shared later. So you can follow along, and if you have any troubles, etc. So we're going to put that there. And I'm going to trigger that. Bam. So you can see simple crawl node. I put the JSON target, which you get from the previous workflow, which has the HTTP, and just grabbed it. Simple as that. Now, there are a lot of stuff out there, complicated sites that need more complex scraping, but I don't really want to get into a scraping lecture tonight. That's a whole other discussion. Let's add a code node to clean that up for me so we can do something with it. Will there be a recording of what sessions, Constantine? Right, what are we going to call this? We're going to call this extract from HTML node, and I'm going to just go into my document and copy the code node I already created so we don't have to worry about it. And I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, I don't know JavaScript. So it's quite simple when you're working on these things to take the input. And I'll show you that. Let me just, if you go up here to JSON, and there's a little clipboard here, you can copy that, and that copies in the keyboard. You load up Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever and say, I'm working in n8n. This is my input, paste it in, and then say, give me a code node that does this. And it'll create the Java code. If you get errors, just tell you got errors, give it the error. And if we have errors tonight, I'll be doing that to show you how to do that. And it generally will, within a 2 or 3 attempts, fix that all for you. So let's see if this works. Missing argument after list, where I copied and pasted this from my after argument list. Where is that? Did I miss something in my paste? Yep, missed something. All right, let me figure that out exactly. I'll show you. Do. Oh yeah, there will be a recording, Constantine, of this one. Primary error was this. Perfect. Give me a new code node, told me what was wrong with it. I'm not going to investigate that right now. I just want to jump back to where we were. Paste that in, execute. Okay, let me just hang on. Heck is this? Still the same thing. Let me just make sure I got that right. Same error. Copying that code node. I just want to make sure I didn't copy in the same code I took out of there, because sometimes that copy doesn't quite work. Yeah. So this is what you do. You see there's an error. I'm going to copy that, go back to Gemini and say, still getting this error. And see what happens. Fixing the HTML sanitation. Oh, sorry. I went back to the code. There we go. It claims it found a fix for me. It's helpful when you actually give it the error. Well, let's find out how helpful. Nope, still a problem. Syntax error missing what? Missing after argument list. I'm still getting that error. Why am I? Message, text error message. HTML content replace. All right, tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to go back to my this node and see if I get the same problem. Just might be the way it's formatted in the document instead of, hey, it's probably how it's formatted in the document. So you're going to get the workflow. So it's missing something when I copied it from the Google Doc to this in the script. So make sure you download the JSON later, or I'll email it to you when it's all done so you can grab it so you get working scripts. So that worked. So let's go on to the next part. We're going to add the AI brain. Oh, my apologies. So here's what I did. Thank you, everybody, for telling me to do that. I went to my working node just because I wanted to speed this along. I extracted the same content that's supposed to be in the Word doc that I have to share. I put it in the code node, ran it, and it worked. So there must be something with the copy and paste. So hopefully that brings you up to speed. It's working now. And I'm going to add the AI agent. And we're going to define below. And I'm going to put that there as a user prompt. And I'm going to grab my system prompt. And we'll show you basically what it does. Yeah, it's because it's fairly big. So here's the thing. There's normally a system prompt and a user prompt. The default field is the user prompt, but you go down here and the system prompt, which is under system message. This is where you say, you are a helpful, you define the role, you're a helpful agent, you are this, you are that. And this is what I'm going to tell it what it to do so it knows. And you can check that out in the document, but I'll give you a run through in just a sec. I just want to give it this. So in the user prompt, I say, here's the website info, and I give it the incoming JSON text. So if I expand this, you can see on the right that here's the website info, and you can see the information coming in from the website. And then down below in the system message, I'll just quickly run through this. Your web transformation engine, advanced AI system capable of executing distinct professional roles simultaneously, a world-class CRO copywriter, a senior technical project manager, an expert AI art director, and a lead front-end architect. So I'm asking this thing to take the page and act like several marketing and conversion rate optimization specialists like, let me show you. I specifically named them here, Cialdini, Schwartz, and the value equation. And if you go up farther, in the style of Alex Harmonzi is where you want the responses. So I name a few people here so you can get a good look at what's happening here. So basically, I want the rewritten page. It's going to take the page, completely rewrite it. The next part is instructions for the product requirements document. Now, this is just fairly small because it's just a page. Tells it its role, the product overview, project overview, 2-sentence summary, design system, the color palette, the typography, component specification, hero, problem, solution, guarantee, section, etc., responsive behavior, mobile versus desktop, and accessibility tech. So you can read through this further, but instructions for the third field is the image gen prompt. So this is going to basically create a new cool looking design image based on the output of the redesigned page. And we'll see what that looks like in a minute, but that'll give us a prompt to create that image. And then this is an instruction field. Number 4 is what I'm going to give Lovable later to rebuild or to build this page from scratch. So it's my prompt for your AI builder, whether it's Cursor, Lovable, or what have you, giving it some stuff. And then the final output format saying I want the rewritten page, I want the product requirements content, I want the image generation prompt, and I want the Lovable prompt. All right, so let me add a chat model here. I'm going to use OpenRouter. If I suggest everyone get up an OpenRouter account. There's a lot of free. Just type in model free, and you can see all these models here. These are free to use right now. They come and go, they change, this and that happens, or some limit. So, but if you're testing or just trying stuff for yourself, put a couple of bucks into OpenRouter and you can run these free without having to pay. I'm not doing that right now. I'm going to use Sonnet 4.5 because it's pretty good. And we'll leave that at that. So I'm adding a Sonnet agent 4.5 there. And we'll go. Let me just make sure that's all I need for that node to move to the next level. Yep, I think that's it. So let's run it. Running this locally instead of online. Silly. Okay, if you haven't noticed, if this looks different in your installation, it's because I'm running here locally. What's happening there? Payment required. Oh, hey Rick, if you're up there, looks like we're out of OpenRouter credits. I'm gonna change this to Open AI. I must have ran out of credits testing this earlier, so we're gonna go with GPT-5. And you can see one of the interesting things, what have you, is when it's running, it has this colorful circle thing around here. It's probably cheaper to use it directly through Claude. I'm not 100% sure, but OpenRouter gets really good rates. I use Gemini, ChatGPT, and OpenRouter rather than having API accounts with everything. So like if you're using Claude, you'd have an API account with Claude, I would use that. But in here, you can add chat models. I can add OpenAI, I can add Claude directly. But just to go beyond that, I use OpenRouter because they have literally thousands. So this looks like it's working. It's taking its sweet time. So while it's taking its sweet time, I'm going to add the next node, which is the safety net parser node, which is a code node. JavaScript, we want it to run once. And again, check the document for the code you want in this node. I like Sonnet for writing, so it's usually better. And it usually takes a while because I've asked it to do a fair bit. So, oh, what did I want to call this node? Parser response. Great. All right, what's next? The agent is still working, as you can see. The next node is the parsing of the JSON response. So another code node. I think I might have called that the wrong name, but that's okay. Let's just run it and see what happens. Great. So you can see what this has done. It's taking HTML looking stuff, and it's in one node. So the output from the AI is just output, and it's a bunch of stuff, and it's one blob. So what this does is it takes it and breaks it out and says, okay, we have rewritten page as a element. It's rewriting the page. We have the PRD content as an element. So these are now separate and can be fed into separate workflows or be dealt with the image prompt and the Lovable prompt. So it's gone in and breaking that out from the blob, because I don't know, when you're using OpenRouter, sometimes some things don't use structured output. So that's the way it's doing. This version of n8n is 2.0 beta. This version was just released today. So have a look. It's great. I haven't really had a large amount of time to go through it. So what does this do? I think this is same thing. So let's do it. Let's do it. Right. I think I'm breaking off into multiple nodes here. Yeah. All right. So let's do this. We're going to call a sub workflow. And I have a sub workflow that already, it's not, crap. Let me do this. The sub workflow is actually in production. Let me, I made a mistake when I started this. So I'll probably have some problems because I started it on my local version when I really wanted to start it on my prod version. So let's just see if this works. Perfect. Let me just update my OpenRouter account. Bam, bam. All right. And I'll have to run it again up to that point, but that's okay. Save. So I don't know if you noticed, but I copied that from my local workflow to my online account in the cloud, because I'm calling one of my sub workflows that happened to be on my online account. So this is not 2.0. And this is my nano banana image gen I want to call. And I'm going to have to execute previous nodes. So it'll start doing that to give me a prompt. The same website in while it's working on that. I know you can't see it, but it's just prompted me that form again to put in the website information. So what this is doing, it's running everything up to that point. So then I can drag and drop the variables in there easily so I don't have to remember them. I'll show you in a minute what that's doing. And while that's doing that, I will start adding my next node. My next node here is a convert to text file node. Yeah, I'll add that. What? My cat. All right, and we're going to do a create build infrastructure mode. I'll show you that in a second. But basically, it's taking the output and creating files for them. And even though we don't really use the file right now, this is just in case you wanted to do that later, and I'll tell you why you'd want to do that. As you can see, it takes a while. So pro tip when you get through this is you pin these things, especially your AI nodes, because it takes your credits. So when this is done, I'll pin it. But because I changed this and moved to my local node, it doesn't have a history of this running before. So it's running now. And then I'm going to want to add a merge node. Cat is rubbing against up all the monitors here. Any questions? Nope. Everyone's fairly content, I hope. Whoa. All right, that's fine. That failed. I'm surprised. So you see the output is coming in. The output is going out. Let me just pin this. So when I pin something, that means when I run the workflow again, it'll just, that node will produce the exact same output. It won't actually run the node again, which means it won't call the AI agent and cost me credits while I'm testing and building. So definitely pin, I like to say pin that, crap, for lack of a better word, because of we're probably putting this out later. So here we are. What we want is the image prompt to feed to my Nano Banana sub. And then I'm just going to call this website is the title. It comes, the image will come back titled website. You don't doesn't matter to you. You could ask for it at the beginning, you can make it up, you can do all sorts of stuff, but I just need that to pass through. At different times I would use width and height to pass through to the sub workflow, but I'm not going to use it for this. I'll tell you that in a second. That's a great question. So if I run this again, let me just run, because I want to show you how this works, I'm going to run the Nano Banana mode. So it's off getting my image. I'm going to show you what that's doing in a bit. And when that's done, I'll pin those nodes and we'll rerun everything and I'll show you exactly what happens. Input PRD content, text input field. So this should be. I can run that in a minute, see if that works. So it's returned a link to an image. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so based on the script we sent it and the site it created this as a landing page mockup. Looks pretty good. So let me jump back. Share this tab instead. I'm going to save. And this is an expensive node too. So I'm going to pin that one. And let me run these and see what happens. It creates a PRD file. As you can see, it created a markdown file out of that. And with this one, it's supposed to create a text file for me. And it does, which is great. In this particular workflow, I'm not really going to use that. But let me show you what happens. I'm going to run this workflow again because the question is, so the workflow starts at the pin node or it starts at the beginning? It starts at the beginning. So you can pin a bunch of these nodes. So you don't have to go back, but some of them I don't mind. Like I'll pin this one just because we don't need to scrape the web page again. And I'll execute the workflow again. And you can see, well, you can't see, but let me, it popped up the form. I should have pinned that one first. So let me pin, let me put the website in. It doesn't matter at this point with the website I've put in because I should have left it here. It went through all of everything, quickly went through all of these things into the merge node. It didn't redo these pin things. I'm sorry that we didn't leave it on that page so you can see it whip through that. But it whipped through the workflow from the beginning. The pin nodes just had the same output. Everything else, if I just wanted to test this code node, I could pin this all the stuff before it and test it, test it, test it. And sometimes if you have too much content in, like if you scrape a web page and if you too much content or an image and whatnot, it's really, you have to unpin nodes because the data becomes unavailable. All right, so the merge node, why we use the merge node is the merge node waits. Other things, if you try to put it all together, it won't work because the first node will run and it'll just keep going. It won't go back for the other nodes until later. So the merge node here stops and says, okay, run. I'm going to wait till I have input from all three, and then I'm going to move on. And so you can see it takes the, I'll jump to JSON. It's got the JSON output of the file, the URL where the graphic is that we uploaded, and the two files that we've got there. So that's the output from that node. All right, so what's the next node? Oh, the next node's a simple one. We're just going to, the next node is a Gmail node, because I'm just going to take this and I'm going to email the output. Not bad. So it's a Gmail node. I've got my own account set up. It's going to send to me. As you can see, the inputs here. Website redesign. Here's the text. Here's your website redesign kit, the image location, the PRD, and the build instructions. So that's all set. Let me run through it now and make sure it works. Let me show my inbox first. $513 from before. Let me delete those. Okay, inbox. And then we'll jump back to the workflow and run it. It's popping up the form, but I'm going to leave you on the workflow. In fact, I'm going to pin it from now on, so every time we run it, it doesn't pop up the form for me anymore. Oh, it didn't submit that. Didn't submit my form. All right, let me stop it. I must have not pressed submit. Hang on. There we go. So you can see it all went through everything. Sent me, gave me a confirmation. It's unread in my inbox. So let me, there it is. So this is my website redesign kit. You can see, I'll click on the graphic in a minute. Project overview. Design to build a high converting marketing site for RC events and services. And here's the design system, the component specifications, the states and interactions, the problem section, all this stuff. So I've got it. Oh, you can't see. You can't see it. Oh, I see it. Stop sharing. Thank you. How long ago did it stop? StreamYard lost it. Did you see it run? This is the email it produced with the link, the PRD, and you can see here the information that PRDs has the markdown, what it should have, design system, typography, spacing strategy, general visuals, and all the individual components. We'll show you how it works. All right, I'll run it again, but I'll run it again so you can see it run. And then I'm going to post this in Lovable so you can see what's happening there. So this is the whole PRD, which includes all the way to the footer, responsive behavior, accessibility, tech notes, build instructions. So this is the build instructions thing. So this is also going to be part of what I feed into Lovable. which is telling it what to build, how to build it, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you that because I'm actually going to build this website in a minute. But no problem, Remy. Thanks for pointing that out. I didn't realize that StreamYard had crashed on me there. So let me just run this again so you can see it. Let me share it first. I've pinned it this time, so it's not going to prompt me off screen. And because that's it. Because I pinned the AI node and the image generation node, it did all of that pretty quickly because the rest of the nodes are really quick to do. So let me jump over to Lovable. If you've never used Lovable, it's right here. Oh yeah, let me just make sure you see this one other thing first. Hang on. The email gave us this photo. Should be the same photo. Yeah. Gave us this photo. It's the same, should be the same photo, and it was. I just wanted for you to show you that. And we're going to go jump back to Lovable. You know what I'm going to do? I am basically going to say, paste in the whole email. Sorry, I didn't paste that, copy that properly. So give me a second. And ask your questions because it's a good time now. It's going to take a couple of minutes. I'm going to go to the top. So below is the PRD, design instructions, and base image for you to build this site. So off we go. And it's doing it. This will take a few minutes. So questions, answers, hopefully I'll have answers. About n8n, about this process. I was going to do some other stuff today, but anti-gravity wasn't working with me to get the new demo I wanted to build. If I also want to give my input on what I'm looking for in the website I'm building, where can I give my input? That's great. So right now, it's not in here because it's a simple thing. But what I would do is I would put in the form instructions some comments and like to say, okay, here is you make it look easy. That's right. Let me show you, Remy. Let me go back. Since that's going, I don't want to, well, I'll just let it go. Let me go back. My workflow, share this instead. What I would do is I would go into here, add a form element and say changes wanted or additions wanted. And I would make it a text area so you have larger room, but you don't have to make it required. And just to show you what that would look like, it now has additions wanted. And so what I would then do is add that to a prompt or the prompt later down saying, when doing the rewrite, keep in consideration addition wanted and drag that field in. Does that make sense, Remy? Lovable is still building. Lovable is a great tool. If you're building interfaces and websites, Like I don't like using the forms like we just saw. Um, where is the rewrite part again? Oh, I'll show you. The rewrite part is in the AI agent. So let me, so this is the instructions for the rewritten page. So I would tell it to take into account the additional changes and then drag that variable either here or here and say, make sure to incorporate these changes like this, and then drag in the field. You would normally see it over here, but since we're running that form and executing previous nodes, we won't see it. But I would do something like that. That makes sense? All right, back to Lovable. It's still taking a while. It takes a few minutes to do this because it literally is taking all that input we just gave it. It download. Okay, let's show you what it's doing. I'm building a stunning marketing site for RC events and service. Let me download the reference image, then create a comprehensive design system and all components. So it's downloaded the image and installed some tools around framing, whatever it needs. And now it's creating these. You can see it's editing all these files. Tailwind config, the buttons, reduce motion, header section, hero section, problem section, solution section, brand section, benefit section, testimonial section, process section, guarantee section, call to action section, footer, index. So it's creating all these while we're doing it. So it's doing quite a bit. Now, this is great. Depending on what you want to do, you could easily use this to demo clients. Hey, we'll rebuild your website into something great looking. Here's an example. Needs to fix the button variant and the framer motion ease. So it's fixing some stuff and cleaning things up. Where you could just run this through and come up with in a few minutes nice looking page that you can share and walk them through and say, how would you like a site like this for X dollars? Or if you have a competitor who's doing well in this space and you want to build your own website, you could point at your competitor's site and say, hey, build me this, but with these brand colors or with this brand kit or with this naming and like with those additional things. And it would basically rebuild that client page as your page with those additional things. And you could make your adjustments and deploy that. Or, sometimes you just want to upgrade your own page. So here we go. I built the stunning marketing site for RC events and services with all the sections from the PRD. It gives me a dark theme, vibrant orange, design system. Well, yeah, I don't know if y'all heard that, but it's about to show us the page. Ta-da! Let me jump to this. Now, what you didn't get is the original page, which I'll show you in a bit. But here you are. And like it created some things, like it probably made these testimonials from scratch. Um, and stuff. So you'll have to go in and edit these things, but it's done it. And now you can tell it to go and change all these things. Like, I don't like this image here. I don't know if you like it or not, but um, share this tab instead. This section looks crappy. Make it look great. Now you can give it specific instructions or whatnot. Or give me an image here that pops. And it has built-in image creation stuff, so we can do that if it wants. So let's just see what it comes up with there. Any other literally weeks worth of previous by agency? Yeah, this is as an example. Like, I mean, if you want to do anything complex, it takes a little bit of time. I don't think any of these other buttons are, oh, they're all on the same page. Perfect. Yeah. So there's not new pages because that's just one. But keep in mind, you could easily scrape multiple pages, then come back and say, okay, here's page 2. Add this page, add this page, add this page, and it would go ahead and do that. And you can do all sorts of funky stuff. Now imagine Lovable is tied into n8n, and I do this in several things. You can add forms and workflows that call n8n, webhooks that do all sorts of things, image creation, processing data, fetching data, whatever it is you can think of. And there you go. Now, I didn't give it any specific instructions, but I think that looks a lot better, that area. What do you think? Now, did you want me to go through basically the image creation workflow I used? That how to create that workflow is also in the build doc. If you want me to make any of these changes for this website or whatnot, let me know. But you can see how quickly and easily it is to make something pretty amazing looking. And okay, let me just turn visual edits off. And it's easy to publish. If you have a domain, you can add it and publish it and host it easily. So before we get too much farther, because people will probably want some of this, I built this web page earlier. Would love your feedback for the event. If you give me your email here, I will send you everything. I'll also send you the build doc. I'll send you the workflows that we have and anything else. Just put your thoughts, anything in the comments below that I mentioned that you wanted, put it there and I'll happily send it to you. I also like this prompt for the rebuild isn't as extensive as I have as a rewrite my web page prompt that I normally use because I've asked it to do this 5 or 6 different things. So if you want that rewrite my web page script, just leave that in the comments when you fill out the session feedback form. That'd be great. Hey, Brian, thank you. Let me grab that email. Appreciate it. I wasn't suggesting you had to put your name in the comments for everyone to see, but I'm happy to take that and email it to you. So anybody, if you want to just fill out that form, it's easy. It's just your first name, email. You give us a rating out of 1 out of 4 and what you think. You don't have to tell us what you think, but just so I can email it to you. Thanks, Brian. I will definitely email it to you by the morning. I just need to pull my keys out of these things to make sure. Thanks, Remy. To make sure none of my API keys and stuff are in there. I'm happy to send all this to. Do you have it? Oh, let me just show you the image gen workflow that we call, because I kind of mentioned this. This is a pretty straightforward workflow. If you have any questions or wanted me to show you anything else, please leave them in the comments. I'm just going to walk through this workflow and I'm going to kind of leave it open. If anybody wants to show something or ask something or whatever, just let me know and we'll figure out how to do that. So this is the sub workflow. It called the build document is with the other build document, so you can download it. But anybody fills out the email, make sure they get that. So the first node here is quite simple. It just sometimes there's spaces, or somebody didn't put the HTTP in front, or there's an extra slash, or there is whatever. This just kind of cleans that up, trims it, make sure it looks okay when it comes in, when somebody fills out or passes that. And then this, I don't want anybody to see that, so let me just, whoops. This calls Nano Banana image processing via OpenRouter. Now you can call it via Gemini or whatnot. Like I explained before, I like using OpenRouter just because it's one set of API keys. Instead of having, your credit card with everybody, you just have them with OpenRouter. And then this parses the response because we get an. Actually, let me show you. So another thing about n8n, and we're on the same page, great, is you can go back and see previous executions and where things worked or failed or what have you. But so you can see the stuff coming in, the prompt coming in, jump to the next node, the code node cleans it up and says, yep, the prompt looks okay. Where there's no extra crap that's going to break JSON when we pass it over. Then it sends it to the image processor saying, here it is. I don't want to scroll down any farther. Then the parse response takes it and just cleans it up, turns the base 64 into a binary file, the next node. There is an image edit node in n8n that is super powerful that people don't use, but you can do almost anything with it. But what happens if you go to Nano Banana or Gemini these days and you ask it to create an image, you get like a 6 meg image back, and it's too big. So I run it through this thing, which turns it, resizes it to 800 by 600, and gives me a compressed 60% JPEG. Now, you may want it bigger, you may not, but a 6 meg file is huge, and it turns it into a 31K file. Well, this particular one had a 517K, and it turned it into 37K. 31K, so it makes it much smaller, and then it returns that smaller file. Actually, this one uploads it to an Amazon S3 bucket and returns it. Returns that. Now you don't have to use the M3 bucket. You can have it return the file. You can have it return the link to a file that is temporarily generated. The problem with the Nano Banana image generated link to the file is it's temporary. It won't exist forever. So it's great if you just want to grab it and get it, but my process, I usually upload it to one of my Amazon S3 buckets because I want to use it for something. And so I send back the link, and then I can add it to my web page. I can add it to anything, and it's going to exist for a while. So that's what this flow does. And like I said, the build document is there as well. Is there anything else I can demo for people while we're... It's great. We have 20 people here. That's awesome. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I would love to show other things if people wanted to see it. And hopefully this was somewhat valuable. I love showing this stuff to people. And, seeing, what they come up with it themselves. This is right. Yeah, that's right. Perfect. Share this. So this is the workflow we just built and that I'll be sending you. The other one you can build, but I'll send you that one as well. After I pull out my stuff and the build document. Is there anything else you want? Hey, how would I work on the next page if I wanted to build a website with multiple pages? Easy. So that's really easy, because for this thing, what I would do is next time, I would just put in another page. Right now we're only scraping one page at a time. And because it takes a while, as you see, the Lovable to build that page, what I would do then is get it to scrape the next page. It'll spit out the same thing, an image for that page, the PRD and the design, and you just put all of that into Lovable. In your additional notes, I might say, this is an add-on page or whatever, but you just go into Lovable and say, add this as whatever page you want to call it as the next page in the site, and it'll create that next page, put it in the header, and off you go. And then you do the next one. Yeah, you could put loops and do and make it a little bit faster, but because you want to kind of check this stuff along the way, that would be the way to go. A challenge with AI tools are the daily limits, especially with the free versions. What plan do you use with Lovable? Well, I pay for Lovable and I get a lot of credits. I'm about to move it down a little bit right now. Um, Let me just. I have 620 left. I usually sit at 400 credits a month. But recently, just because I had client work, I had to bump it up. So it'll be renewing in a few days, and I have a few hundred credits to do. And I think by default, you can roll over up to 50% of your credits. And sometimes, there's uh, free credits for students, hackathons, discounts, and all kind of stuff. I'm going to be querying them to see if we can get some discounts for our members and stuff for our future sessions, our cafe sessions, and our build sessions to see. But yeah, there is some money involved in this, but their pricing isn't too bad for, like, you can see what you do. You can start with like $20 and get a couple hundred credits, and you can build this stuff fairly fast. You start digging into the credits when you start getting complicated and start fixing little things at a time. It would probably, what we just built there would probably only take 5 or 10 credits. And the free version, actually, you get 5 credits a day. If you go, you can spend 5 credits a day if you go every day. Yeah, Google Pro is free for students ending tonight. That gives you Gemini and a bunch of stuff, and AI Studio is pretty good. There might be a stuff for students for here, but there's also a free plan that gives you 5 credits a day and stuff. So that might be enough to get started. Video generation and posting to social media. Yeah, there are a few video gen stuff. It depends what you're looking for. Let me show you. I've got different workflows that I've played with along the way. I'm gonna go. This one is a little bit complicated, but not as complicated as it used to be. And it doesn't create. This was before Sora and VO3 and whatnot. So what this does is it creates images and then text overlays and the voiceover. It's all AI created, all of that. And the image, when the video plays, the captions go, the voice and stuff goes. There's music in the background, and it zooms and pans on the images. And the images are relevant to what's going on at the screen. So if the statement about the person, they last about a minute, and it might be talking about, when he was young, he used to sell this at the farmer's market, and the image would be of them selling something at the farmer's market was young, but at college, and then it'll be something, an image of them at college is panning and that kind of stuff. So it's easy enough though with using Sora, VO3, or that kind of stuff. With that, and I might even have a video tool on my site. So if you mentioned that you wouldn't mind video, I'll tell you what, I'll send a video template to everyone as well, that they can play with on their own, and hopefully that'll help. That'll just be easier than me remembering it to sending it to BY. If BY, if you've put your email on the session feedback, I'll send it to you. Have you played with Bolt.new? If yes, which tool do you prefer and why? I played with Bolt.new and I like it. Cursor's good. I like a lot of other things. I like Lovable for building a beautiful front end pages. It does a bunch of other stuff, and they really have put a lot of work into it the last few weeks, because now it includes MCP servers that can connect to things like n8n. So if you have workflows and stuff, you can just turn on the MCP feature in n8n and connect it to Lovable, and it'll see them and be able to use those. And it has a bunch of other features: Shopify, Supabase integration. Lovable Cloud is now white labeled Supabase. It does a bunch of cool stuff. They've really built a bunch of other stuff on top of it that make it amazing. So I like it for that. How do I compare n8n to make.com? I like n8n's pricing better, and I like the tool better. Now, some people like, I'm a go with what you know and what you like person. For example, I have a lot of developers come up and say, would you build an n8n workflow, or would you, code something or whatever? And I'm like, go with your strengths. If you're a hardcore developer, code the stuff that you can code. Maybe use this to help boost it along the way. But if you know make, and that's your tool, use it. I like n8n because that number of one things, that this workflow that you're seeing in front of you, I run it. It creates a work thing for me, a video for me, but it's only one credit. Make, that's a bunch of credits. And not only that, but it calls this sub workflow that does a bunch of things, and that's free. Sub workflows in n8n are free. Meaning, you pay for them and make. So it really depends what you like, but generally, if you look at the long term, if you're running a lot of workflows, and you're doing them in the cloud and paying for them, n8n is probably the better way to go. And Zapier might be better than Make, Alex. I haven't played with Zapier in a long time, but you can do so much with n8n. Like the number of nodes, let me just kind of action in app. Like there's literally hundreds and hundreds of apps that they connect to automatically. They have nodes for that. You just click on, add your credentials, and you're connected to it. Off you go. It's amazing. And if you n8n has so many. I'm trying to find the n8n site. I thought I had it open here, but that's all right. I'll open another one. They have, I don't, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember how many workflows they have, but so many now. Oh yeah. So if you go to n8n.io/workflows, 7,264 automated workflow templates you can download. Now, some of them you pay for now, but a lot of them are free. So you can go, if you're stuck or just want a place to start, it's a great place to go. Learn the basics, and I haven't looked at this. And you can click this to explore, and it shows you a bunch of things, and it shows you what it does. And I can use for free, which means I can copy template to my clipboard. I can get started, click this, and it'll put it in my cloud right away. So I can copy this, paste it in my local thing, or if I click this one, it'll put it in my Google Cloud and open it there automatically. n8n can be overwhelming, but start simple, start small. I'm don't do the elephant in one bite scenario. Any questions? Well, I'll keep this open for a bit. We have Flowgrammer Cafe coming in 2026, so I'll let everybody know we're planning to do. And all that is drop in co-working cafe space, meaning we're gonna try and get snacks and coffee sponsors and whatnot, and maybe even sponsors like OpenAI or Cursor or Lovable to give us credits and whatnot. But you just come and work. Um, we'll start probably at Workhouse, but it'll be drop-in space where you can sit down and you work on whatever you're building. You've got questions, you can, we'll probably start with 10 of us or so. We're just working together, lots of coffee, lots of interaction. A lot of us build from our own place. So builder vibes, working together, Flowgrammer Cafe. And we do have a lot of people probably don't know this. We just recently launched, other than the Flowgrammer page that we have, we've launched our Flowgrammers site. Am I here? Am I sharing this? No. There we go. share the screen, share. So this is the Flowgrammers Community Hub where we'll put all our events and whatnot. I'm going to be sharing more resources. I'll be putting the resources from tonight and stuff up eventually, but there's already an AI video generation. Turn Google Sheet into POV short form videos tool already there. You can workflow with descriptions you can download. I'll be adding prompts and workflows and videos there for people to use. So if anybody's interested, check that out. And I hope this was useful. I'm going to hang on for a couple of minutes, but I'm happy to, like I said, bring anybody on screen or just answer any questions people have. But make sure, if you can, go check out Flowgrammers. You were there on that web page, our website, if you filled out the form. Check it out, just and let me know any feedback. There's a lot of content there, but basically that's our community site versus our corporate site. If you don't know what we do, we build automations that help businesses grow and thrive, whether it's speed to feed, whether it's lower operations. We implement them in small or large businesses, depending on what you want. We can deliver a workflow, or we can go in and implement a whole system working with your team. And the focus is, a lot of people are afraid of AI and they think, Skynet and the Terminator. And we think of it differently. We think of it as Iron Man. And when we go into an organization, we show them that what we do is making them a superhero and 10 times or 100 times more productive, turning them into Iron Man and not fearing what AI is. And it's going to come for their job. And it's not the Terminator, it's Iron Man. And when you can show people that, they start all of a sudden get on board rather than fearing it and shunning it and fighting against you in a corporation. So you want that kind of help, and workflows built or automations built, or a fractional chief automation officer, give me a call, give me an email, let me know. I'm happy to get on a call and talk to you about that kind of stuff. All right, everyone. Oh, more people. People are joining now. All right, you missed some stuff. If there's not, I'm going to hang out for a minute. Anybody else have questions? But thanks everyone for calling. I really appreciate everyone calling for attending. I really appreciate everyone joining. And I'm happy again to share anything else and explain anything else. How do you contact me? That's a great question. Let me just put my email in here. There's my email. Feel free to reach out. I love the feedback. If you want anything in a discovery call, whatnot, just email me. Happy to work with you. Got a lot of stuff going on in 2026, and we're really looking forward to raising the bar in what we can do in our builders community. So the more builders we have, the better. The more people actively building and shipping, which is what we like. If we want more online build sessions like this, let me know, versus in person. I'd love to do more combination of these things because these give us good recordings and whatnot, that we can put online either privately on our website or publicly on YouTube, but we can share with you. So again, if you filled out the form, you'll be getting this. And I only say filled out the form because I made this open. You didn't have to give us your email when you logged in, so I don't know who's here and who isn't. I will send this to you, everything we did tonight to you, and a link to this video when we posted, so you have all the documents, so you can go and try and do this stuff yourself. And I would love your feedback on what types of things you'd like to see me build in the future, because sometimes I struggle with what would be interesting to show people. I'm trying to show you what kinds of things you can do to get your brain going, and give you actual functional stuff you can play with. But if you want me to do some invoicing stuff, great. If you want me to do marketing stuff, great. If you want me to do social media, more voice stuff, or more building apps. Like last time we built a live app, published it, and got everybody playing with it. It was a live event, connect with each other board, which was interesting. So I'd love to hear that kind of stuff, get that feedback as well.